Hi guys, it's John here, and this is a look and review of the Gamesir X3 Pro. So this is the latest game controller from Gamesir, and they've sent this out for me to review. So let's check out what this new controller is like, what new features it has compared to the older model, and see whether this might be for you. So I've put timecodes in the description if you want to jump to any particular part of this video. I've also put an affiliate link in there as well if you want to help support the channel. So this retails at £65 or about $60. And you can see here what we're getting is a Type-C gaming controller for Android with some nice features which we can compare to the older model, which I have sat over here. So you can see here the contents of the package. We get the controller itself, we get a carrying case, a USB-C cable, and we do get interchangeable thumbsticks, D-pads, and we can even remove the ergonomic grips here. You can see here this is compatible for phones from 110 to 180 millimeters in width. We do get Hall effect sticks. We get the magnetic swappable buttons here for A, B, X, and Y. We get the built-in cooler for your phone, and we get the share button. So this is what we get on the back of the box. We can see here the details about the Hall effect sticks, the length as well, interchangeable buttons, textures, grips, and ergonomic grips are included here. Of course, we get to see the cooler here on the back with a USB-C port which allows pass-through charging. And the newest feature here on the Pro model is this 3.5mm headphone jack. So that's really good to see and something we've been waiting for from Gamesir for quite a while now. So let's get into the box and see what we get inside. Okay, so inside we get a box with a nice USB-C to USB-C cable inside. We also get our manual here and our sticker and some warranty information, and of course we get the X3 Pro itself in this really nice carry case here, which also has a handle on. So let's have a look inside, and this is what we get. So obviously the controller itself here, which we will have a look at in more detail shortly, and of course we get the additional thumb pads and D-pad here to pop onto our controller if we so wish. Here's a really nice soft case this time around, as you can see. Nice and fluffy. So here is the controller itself. As you can see, it is translucent in design, which is quite a change to their other controllers. And yeah, it's what you'd expect from a Gamesir extendable controller. You can see here, like I say, this opens up to a maximum width of 180mm, and on the back here we can see the cooler itself, and of course the cooling plate here, which is what is going to be doing the cooling of your phone. Okay, so let's go through the Gamepad Tester App and just see how well it functions. Now you are going to need to remove the case from your phone. As you can see, there's no chance that that USB-C connector is going to stick into your phone with a case on, so let's take that off first and get our phone inside. Okay, so I've popped my phone in. Now it is important to note that initially when the cooler is centered, you may not be able to get your phone in. Here, for example, on my S24 Ultra, I had to move the cooler unit here down a bit for it to fit properly. So you can actually move this independently of the rest of the controller, just to slide it up and down to make room for any camera bumps you have on the back. Okay, so let's just check out the buttons and controls of the joypad. As you can see here, we get our instant response here from our USB-C connection, so there's no lag at all in the response from this controller. We get our A, B, X and Y, we get start and select, we get our mode button or the Xbox guide button if you're using it for Xbox Game Pass, and we get our screenshot button here. We also get a really nice D-pad here, as you can see, and probably here it is nice little micro switches inside. And we get our RB and LB, and we get our digital triggers here on the back. They are only digital, which is a bit of a shame, and they could have gone all out and gone analog, but it is what it is. Okay, so we're just going to go over the different combinations you can do with the buttons that are in the manual here. So the first one we're going to do is just switch modes. This is going to switch between the basic Gamesir mode, where you map controls on your screen, and the standard DS5 mode, as they call it, which is just the standard Android mode. Okay, so next up we can enable turbo fire or auto fire. All you have to do is press and hold the screenshot button and the button that you want to have set as fire. As you can see, auto fire is now running on the A button. We can do it on one of the other buttons here, say one of the triggers. Now if you want to turn it off on one button, you can just press and hold the screenshot button and tap your button to turn it off, or if you want to turn it off on all buttons, you just simply double tap the screenshot button, and now all the turbos have been turned off. Now this does have vibration motors inside, and you can adjust the power for those motors. Again, holding the screenshot button, you can press the start button here to increase, or the Gamesir select button here to decrease the vibration intensity. Let's give that a go. And there you go, that's minimum or off. And then we can set it back up to max. So if you are going to use this for your switch, you can switch the A, B, X and Y buttons. All you do is simply hold the screenshot button and hold down A for 2 seconds. And you can now see it has switched around. And to go back, again, hold down A and screenshot, and you're now back in your standard Xbox mode. Okay, so let's have a look at our accessories again and see how they look on the device itself. So here we've got our different sticks that we can use. So if you prefer the concave stick of the Xbox, you would stick those in. If you fancy a Nintendo Switch style stick, then you can pop these in. And they are just magnetic. You simply pop these off. And then pop your new ones on. Just make sure you line up the stick with the little clips on here. You can see on the right stick, they're actually facing an opposite direction to the left stick. On the left stick, they're going from left to right, and on the right stick, they're going up and down. So just bear that in mind when popping your sticks on. So you can see here now, we have got those in nicely. Let's swap out to the D-pad as well. Again, just pop the old one off. This is a lot more obvious here. We've got 4 dots to line up. And that just pops in there. That feels really nice there. And let's take off our little grips here. And that does reduce the size of the controller quite substantially. But yeah, it does feel a lot less comfortable, I'd say, without those grips. So I'm going to pop those back on. They just pop back on like this. That really does add to the ergonomics quite nicely. Yeah, it just gives you more to hold onto there. So along with being able to change those buttons there, you can also switch out your face buttons here. If you have a nail long enough to get in, there's a little gap on each button here. We can just lift it up and get it swapped out. So you can swap your A, B and X and Y if you so wish. See, that just pops back in magnetically and we are back to square one. So let's just compare this to the previous version here. Design wise, you can see they are both very similar indeed, but the advantage of the new Pro version here is the pass-through charging through the cooler and of course that 3.5mm headphone jack. The old version did have charging, but it didn't have pass-through charging, so you've got 2 USB-Cs here on the old one, as you can see, and there was no 3.5mm headset. Okay, so let's test out the cooler and see how well it works. I've got a thermometer here, and we're just going to check the current temperature of it whilst turned off. You can see here we've got about 24.7 degrees Celsius for the cooling area itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plug this in and we're going to start monitoring how fast and how cold this gets. You can see here, as you plug it in, it does turn on an LED in the back, but let's just monitor how quickly it goes down in temperature and also what temperature it can get to. Okay, so we're going for a few minutes now. We have dipped below 6 degrees, as you can see. It's gone down to 5.3 degrees here. So that's nice and cold for cooling the back of your phone. So I think the minimum here we've got to is 5.1 degrees Celsius. We'll just check. Yeah, oh, we have reached below 5 degrees. That's pretty impressive stuff, really. But yeah, on average, it seems to be holding between 5 and 6 degrees Celsius. So what we're going to do now, you can see here, I've got a temperature widget here at 30 degrees. I'm going to put the fan on full blast and we're going to run the test. Let the phone cool down again back to 32 or so, and then I'll run the test again without the cooler enabled. So I'm going to prop the phone up on the cases here because I want to be able to let the airflow out the back as much as possible. So let's see what performance we get with it on with full blast. Results here, and we can see stability 81.8, best loop 1628, lowest 1332. Okay, so we've got the phone back at normal temperature now, pretty much. So I'm going to run the same test again and we'll just see what the results are like. I'll leave it hanging on these cases here, just try and make it as fair a test as possible. And I'll come back and we'll see how it compares to using the cooler. Okay, so it's just finished now without the cooler. You can see here, phone at 40 degrees, stability 68%, best loop 1643, and the lowest 1123. So you can see here, compared to with the cooler on, obviously we're getting much better performance thanks to that X3 Pro's cooling. So here we are in the Gamesir mode itself, and you can see here all the buttons that have been mapped automatically through the app onto the screen, so I can play Genshin Impact without touching the screen at all. Now you can obviously configure the controls as you see fit, but for the time being I'll just leave them as the default, and you can see here that may be something I want to change, especially if I'm going to be aiming like this. But of course, you can just change the settings to whatever you want to. You can play around with this as you see fit for your game, and it is what you expect from Gamesir. It all works absolutely fine out of the box. So you can use this for any game that requires touchscreen controls, but you want to use with a gamepad. Okay, let's test out the controller in some Xbox Remote Play here. You can see it works perfectly well in Remote Play here. So let's go into an Android game and see how it fares there. So again, in Android, working absolutely perfectly as well. Okay, so here we are in Fortnite, and you can see it's controlling very nice indeed. So I'll put the cooler on and you can see how loud it is whilst you're playing. So this is on the lowest setting. And that is it on the highest setting. So you are going to want to use the 3.5mm headphone jack to put your headphones on whilst you're playing if you are going to use the cooler, because it is quite loud. And it would get quite annoying, I think, if you're playing and you've got this on in the background. So I'll turn it off just for this video, but yeah, bear in mind you'll probably want to wear headphones if you're using the cooler. So you can see it's handling absolutely perfectly fine, no issues at all in Fortnite here. So yeah, really nice and responsive here from the X3 Pro. So there we have it. That is the X3 Pro from Gamesir. Really nice controller. I do like the look of it. It's something a bit different, isn't it, to the usual plain plastic that they do. And the ability to obviously swap all your buttons and controls around as you see fit. It's a really nice option to go for. That, including the cooler here, which as we have seen has got these nice white LEDs, do complement the colour of the controller quite nicely. So I hope you enjoyed this look and review of the X3 Pro. Let me know if you've got any questions or comments at all about this controller. I'll do my best to answer where I can. If you want something that's going to be good for playing long gaming sessions where your phone gets too hot and overheats, this is certainly going to be something you're going to need to look for. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget there is an affiliate link down below in the description if you want to pick one of these up. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.